Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to dive into the NASDAQ for a couple of reasons. Number one, the NASDAQ is absolutely the leader in terms of strength in the indices. It's also, in many ways, the most important because when you think about, for example, the NASDAQ, really the next level would be considering the XLK, the XLC, and the XLY in terms of sector weighting. Remembering that XLK is also heavily weighted within the S&P, and XLK is also heavily weighted within the Dow, right? So tech has a very different take, I think, in modern markets than, say, they would have even 20 years ago. Tech is a very important sector, or those stocks within the XLK, XLY, XLC have a disproportionate influence on what's happening in the markets. Now, earlier this year, when the Dow was able to defy what was a laggy tech environment, it had to do with the fact that we were in a reflation trade and heavily weighted sectors like XLF, XLE, XLI, and IYT, which again, all were disproportionately benefiting from reflation, were moving higher. And really, the Dow didn't care that tech was moving lower because it had so many other parts of the market to help offset that sluggishness. All right, so now since June 16, we're not in that environment anymore, and NASDAQ has clearly taken the lead in terms of strength and clarity amongst the indices. S&P has taken its cue from what has been a very strong healthcare sector, and again, tech, and it's been doing quite well. But how come it's not as strong, and how come it's been more volatile than the NAS? Even though I do believe it will likely continue higher, because it does have financials weighted within it, and it is going to have some adherence to what's happening in the Dow. So it's going to move with tech, but a little bit more sluggishly because of the fact that financials are not quite as strong in terms of sectors as the tech and the healthcare corner of the markets are. So what did we do today? Well, the same thing we've been doing every day, prioritizing the S&P and the NASDAQ in the morning, looking for opportunities to buy. Will there be moves to the downside? All right, let me address what have been very, very important questions. By the way, on the left side of the screen, what you're seeing are the notes that I share with the folks in the futures room when I'm in there. And we have also similar notes for the Sector Secrets Mastery. So anytime I'm on the mic, whether it's on the options room, the futures room, or the Sector Secrets Mastery, you will see notes like this. So I want to share with you all some of the things we were looking for. A buy in crude oil, and then a buy in the NAS, which ultimately became the trade of our morning. And why a buy? Why not a short? Because, as many of you probably know and are familiar with, JT Multi is green. We're clearly above our two anchored VWAPs, and we are dominated by those gorgeous green grab candles, right? We have green grab candles dominating the movement in NASDAQ. And so the higher probability side of the market is going to be the long side, and I focus on that long side specifically in what we call the AM or morning session, right? And that means from 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning, I'm focusing on those 2 hours for my day trades, focusing on pullbacks and entries, preferably before 11, even preferably before 10:45, to take advantage of the long side. All right, so that gives us a big picture view. Let's get down into the nitty gritty of it. What did we have today? Good old-fashioned breach, retreat, and that was kind of a nice setup. We also had another quick volume weighted average price dip before 11:30. We had some volatile news come out about some different issues with, what was it? Some DNS issues, and the internet just had a really, really rough late morning as these DNS issues. I think there were approximately 30,000 websites down as the I think it was an Akamai Edge DNS server issue. All right, so NASDAQ freaked out, as it would. Low volume time of day. If this would have happened during sort of 9:30 to 11, would we have seen a reaction? Maybe not as large, maybe larger, but nonetheless, when these unscheduled events come, there's nothing we can do about it. But it doesn't undo the fact that we are still bullish. And so as we had a news-driven move to the downside, take a look at how the market sunk into the volatility range of our hourly price movement and our V-score. Now, I'm not going to call this a classic long position because of the time that it occurred, but talk about gorgeous clarity from volatility and volume setting up just a don't panic, don't short this, if anything, fade the move as we get towards exhaustion. Really interesting morning. Gorgeous trade in the NAS today. Took out 2 profit targets, and that's the kind of morning that I like. I'm not ruling out that we could continue to grind higher throughout the remainder of the day. Like I said, this news about the Akamai DNS attack or whatever that issue was, server incident, I think it's called an incident at this point. DNS issue, I think the NAS is going to just kind of recoup and head on its merry way higher. Why? That's what the daily time frame says it is. Now, once we get closer to 14,950 to 15,000, I would not be at all surprised if we start to see some resistance. But in the meanwhile, onward and upward, and I'll see you in the next update. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.